The night the fire started, the town of Millstone was draped in a heavy silence, broken only by the occasional bark of a stray dog wandering the alleys. One of those strays, a scruffy golden retriever mix the locals had nicknamed Buddy, was sniffing around for food scraps when he caught a scent that would change everything: smoke. Buddy's ears perked up, and he bolted toward the smell, his paws skidding over the slick asphalt. At the end of Maple Street, where a tiny blue house stood crookedly among overgrown hedges, thick smoke poured from shattered windows. The house was already groaning under the weight of the flames, orange light flickering wildly against the night sky. Inside, trapped and forgotten in the chaos, a 2-year-old boy named Liam cried out, his voice barely audible over the roar of the fire. Buddy didn't hesitate. He darted through the open door, the heat searing his fur almost immediately. Inside, the world was a nightmare. Smoke so thick it clung to his tongue, furniture engulfed in flame, walls creaking like they might collapse at any moment. But the whimpering sounds guided him. He found Liam huddled in a corner of the living room, his tiny face streaked with soot, his little hands trembling as he sobbed for his mother, who had fainted outside trying to save him before being pulled away by neighbors. The dog approached carefully, nuzzling Liam's side. The boy, too young to question, reached out and clung desperately to Buddy's neck. With a deep, rumbling bark, Buddy dragged Liam gently across the floor, weaving between fallen beams and flaming curtains. Just as a chunk of ceiling gave way behind them, they burst out the front door together, a miracle of instincts and heart. Neighbors gasped, rushing forward. Phones were already recording the surreal scene as the dog, smoke-blackened and wheezing, refused to let go of the boy until he was safely in his mother's arms. Emergency services arrived within minutes, and as paramedics tended to the boy, another team tried to approach Buddy. But the stray, sensing the human's confusion, bolted down the street and disappeared into the night, limping heavily. The story exploded online overnight. Footage of the rescue hit the news and social media within hours. Stray dog saves toddler from house fire. Headlines screamed about the hero dog who vanished before anyone could even thank him. People in Millstone began organizing search parties, laying out food and treats in alleys, leaving their porch lights on in hopes Buddy would come back. But days passed, and there was no sign of him. Meanwhile, little Liam made a full recovery. Though he was too young to tell the whole story, he never stopped asking about my doggy. His mother, Emily Carter, couldn't bear the thought of the stray out there, injured and alone, after saving her son's life. She posted everywhere. Flyers, Facebook groups, even local radio stations, pleading for any sightings. It wasn't until the 5th night after the fire that hope flickered once more. A teenager named Noah, riding his bike along the river, found Buddy lying under an abandoned boat, barely conscious, his paw badly burned and infected. The boy immediately called Emily, who raced to the spot with a blanket and tears streaming down her face. At the animal hospital, doctors worked tirelessly to save Buddy. His injuries were serious: burns, smoke inhalation, an infected leg wound. For a moment, it seemed he might not make it. Emily sat by his side every night, telling him stories about Liam, playing recordings of the toddler's laughter, begging him to fight. Buddy, ever the survivor, pulled through. When he finally opened his eyes for the first time after surgery, he found Liam sitting next to him on the floor, a coloring book in his lap, one hand resting protectively on Buddy's side. From that moment, it was clear to everyone, Buddy had found his home. But that wasn't the end. The town of Millstone rallied together in a way no one expected. A fundraiser launched by the local shelter raised enough money to not only pay for Buddy's medical bills but to start a new program, Buddy's Heroes, an initiative to help stray animals find homes while also training some to become rescue dogs. Children, inspired by the story, began volunteering at the shelter. Adults donated supplies and time. A town that had once ignored its strays now wore Buddy t-shirts proudly, a scruffy golden retriever face beaming over the words, "Be someone's hero." As for Buddy, he officially became Liam's protector and best friend. The two were inseparable. Buddy waited by the door every morning when Liam woke up, napped under his high chair during meals, and curled up at the foot of his bed every night. Emily often caught Liam whispering secrets to Buddy, who listened patiently, his tail thumping softly. Years later, at a community festival celebrating local heroes, Liam, now a young boy, stood on stage holding Buddy's leash. In front of hundreds of clapping townspeople, he looked down at the dog who had once saved his life and simply said, "He didn't have to save me." But he did. And now it's my turn to save others. The story of Buddy, the stray no one wanted, became a legacy of hope, a reminder that sometimes, the greatest heroes come from the unlikeliest places. And sometimes, one act of courage can change an entire town, forever.